Hi, Julia Watts here, and I'm bringing you a video with the IndigoBlu Nottingham Lace Stamp Set, and we're going to be using some luscious powders too. So this is the card that we're going to make. We won't be putting pearls on. This just hides a little bit of overstamping that I did, but just to show you that you can get around it. So put that to one side, and we're starting with a piece of Pink Frog watercolour card. And I've got a spare piece of craft sheet here. I'm going to add a little bit of gesso. This is the IndigoBlu gesso onto my craft sheet, just in a couple of splodges. Just with a wide brush, that should be enough. And then using the Luscious Powders, I've got no, that's green, I don't want green. I've got teal here, and I'm going to add a little bit of the teal to one of them. Oh. Like that. So we're going to make ourselves like a coloured gesso. You won't get the shimmer from the Luscious, but what you will do is get a coloured paint. You do need to work reasonably quickly. This is the Cherry Lips Luscious, so I'm going to add a little bit of that to there, probably far too much, but hey ho, and give it a good old mix. Just be careful that it doesn't go all over the place, which it obviously has done. It's almost like doing live TV, isn't it? I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of water actually, just to water it down a little bit so that it moves a little bit better. Remember, gesso is can go on all surfaces, so that you can get a key to add other products to it. So even on the craft sheet, it does actually dry quite quickly. Again, I'll give that little bit of a mist with water. See it moving around. Okay, so on my watercolour card, I'm going to mist this, give it a good old wetting so that my gesso moves around quite well, and I'm going to actually put some on the back as well so that it doesn't move, doesn't warp too much. Then we're just going to add a little bit of colour to it, just for this is a background obviously, nothing to stress about too much. A little bit of the pink. Obviously where it merges together you're going to get more colour, just like that. So that's my background already done. That's one side, and then we'll leave that to dry. So we're back here with the piece that's already dry, and I've trimmed it down a little bit, and we're going to cover this with an anti-static bag, just so that any fingerprints or any moisture that still might be there, which there isn't, but just in case, that we only get our powders that we're going to use stuck to where we want them to be. So going to our Nottingham Lace, I'm going to take the lovely long lacy border stamp here, and I'm going to stamp that at the bottom. I'm going to take a Wow embossing ink pad and give it a good old inking. Make sure there's plenty of ink onto my stamp. I think that's well enough inked now, and we're going to stamp that down the bottom. Should have trimmed my card to fit, and give it a good old press. Sure it's well adhered. I mean, even though I've got the gesso on there, it is actually a slightly textured cardstock, so do take your time to stamp it properly. So remove that, obviously you can't see anything. We're going to take the Mermaid Tresses Luscious Powder, because I store mine upside down, and I'm just going to take a soft brush and add some over the top. And we can slowly see, I know it's very pale, but it's all right, there's a plan. I've got an idea in my head from a happy accident. There we go. I'll give that a wiggle for you so you can hopefully see the luscious there. Now on the other side we're going to stamp the other lacy border from the Nottingham Lace Set. Again, we'll ink up with our Wow embossing ink. And we'll add it, which way around, that way, to the top. Give it good press. Sorry about my squeaky desk. You'll notice it now, drawing your attention to it. And now we're going to add some more of the Mermaid Tresses powder to that as well. And then it'll be revealed. There we go. Give that little wiggle for you. You can see that one. Yeah. Put my lid on before I knock it over. Right, so now we're going to put something in the centre here, and I'm on the same stamp set. I need a slightly bigger block, and we're going for, there's a beautiful tulip in the set. And in my original one, I actually stamped with the Morning Mist VersaFine, but I don't know, because I put a black mat behind it, I'm going to actually stamp it in black this time. So hopefully we'll see a difference and we can decide which we prefer. Lots of tapping. The lid. Again, I'm going to stamp it on the wonk slightly, and see it fits just in here. It's a beautiful stamp, this. Really lovely detail on it, as you'd expect from IndigoBlu, obviously. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's stunning. And I'm going to add some of the IndigoBlu clear embossing glaze to this. Now, where did I put it? I put it somewhere safe. There it is. And this is where a happy accident occurred when I was prepping this demo. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of embossing powder stuck to where I put the luscious powder over the ink. So therefore it's still a little bit wet underneath. So, okay, so we've done that. So let's add embossing powder to the rest of those images. Because it, you know, it's a happy accident. Try and remember what it looks like. I mean, obviously it's got powder on it now, but what it looked like before. You could only really see it if I wiggled it. Let's put this back in here. I've got one little bit of stamping to do, and then we're going to heat set. Leave the lid off that, which is dangerous, I know, but hey ho. And we're going to go for, oh, did I put my finger in that? Probably. We're going to go for the sentiment that is in the set, or one of the sentiments that's in the set, and we're going to stamp that in black as well. Try not to over ink this. This is a mistake I made. You know, when you get your stamps, you need to kind of learn what they're going to be like and where the areas are where you might have to be careful with your inking. So obviously the first one isn't always the best. Let's see if I can get this up the right way. And we're going to put that just there, I think. Forgive me if it's not straight. I'm trying to work over a camera here. It's not straight. Of course it isn't. It's just like live telly. But we can always laugh at it, can't we? Always laugh at it. In fact, I've got a little tip that what we'll do. I'll tell you about it now because I'm learning, obviously, like you. What I would do is I would actually put a mark on the bottom of the stamp. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Let's put this away. Put the lid on and I haven't put that away. Oh. See, in the studio I'd have a little helper, wouldn't I? I'd have a lovely presenter to help me. Now I can put the lid on. Now, going back to this stamp, what I would do is get a permanent marker. And I know now, look, I know there that that's the middle of the bottom. So if I mark my stamp like that, then on the back, I draw a line there, I know that that's the right way up to be. So the next time I do it, I'll stamp it straight because I'll be able to see that through my block. There's a little tip. So we're always learning, aren't we? Anyway, let's set this heat tool. Get my heat tool going. Now, let's look at this bottom border here. Remember, it's got the embossing ink and the luscious powder, and then it's got the embossing glaze on top. Now look, when I heat set it, that colour intensifies, as does embossing powders anyway, but we can really see the detail of that beautiful Nottingham lace border. Okay. We'll do the other one and then I'll do the middle. I'll get hold of it. And I'm using the Wow heat tool. It's not the dual tone one because I haven't got one of those yet, but look at the detail on that stamp, it's just beautiful. We're going to colour this in, but you could just leave it as it is. We won't look at my wonky stamping here, but we can have a good laugh at it, which is what it's all about. So we will come back and colour that in a moment. So we're back now, ready to do some colouring. Now if you think that this looks a little bit different to how it was when we left, I had to do it again. So I followed my tip with the stamp with the little marker at the bottom to show me which way up things were, and you can see that it's worked and this one's lovely and straight. So if it looks, like I say, if it looks a little bit different, I couldn't live with it. So this is the newer version, and I've already matted onto some black and some white card. So you could leave it like this and it looks lovely. So if you don't want to do any colouring, you've got your card sorted. But we're going to colour in with the luscious powders, and we're going to use the cherry lips and the green. Just a little bit of colouring. I've got a little palette here. Oh, balance it. And we're just going to take some of our green luscious first and do the leaves. So just take, I mean, I've already got some green in my palette here, so we can activate that, wake that up. So if you want to add any more, just a little damp brush into your luscious and mix it in. As you can see, when I added the water, it just reactivated what was there. So nothing's wasted if you keep it in a palette. I've done that one. And you want it to be, you know, quite not too thick, so that when you come in here it's going to just jump off your embossed lines and not obscure your image. If you hadn't embossed it, then you would find that you would lose the definition of your image. So if you're ever going to use any mica based product to colour in, we do suggest that you do actually emboss. So obviously we don't need to worry about shade, because all the shade is done for us already on the stamp. We're just colouring in with the green. Do turn your work so that you're not leaning over it, if it makes it easier for you. See how easy it is? It was quite quick and easy for me to recreate this card as well. This would be great, a great batch card, because you could make your backgrounds in a session, then do all your stamping and embossing, you know, and do your luscious in one session, and then do your painting in one session. So you could get, especially at the moment, you could get a really good batch of cards made. Now onto the cherry lips. I've probably got enough actually in my palette. Yeah, we won't put any more in, we'll just use what we've got. So I'll turn this upside down. Just go over the top. Maybe see where it is hitting the lines, it's coming off, but while it's sitting on the lines, it's more of a blue colour rather than the pink, because it is a jewel tone, luscious. Don't want it to be too thick. You just see you get quite a good coverage, just, you know, with one dip. This is my soil colouring in, really easy, really quick. Because we've used the fine clear powder, it means that the embossing powder is only where our stamped image was, and we're not losing any areas that we can't colour in. So there we are. So that's not quite dry yet, but as it dries you'll see a lovely shimmer coming through. So there we are, completed card.